What's up everyone, this is your boy back at you. It's been a while, but I'm back and I'm about to do an unboxing and review. This time I'm going to be doing it on the Kingdom War for Cybertron Ultra Magnus figure. Now, I know what you're saying, yeah, this is kind of the Magnus that we wanted, but really is it? Once upon I seen the original sketch art of the Kingdom figures, I said, wow, they're going to re-release Ultra Magnus and this time they're going to do him G1 style. So here the figure finally is. Kind of sad to say that it looks like pretty much a light retool of the original Siege figure, which we have here on the right. We're going to unbox this figure, we're going to check it out. We're also going to compare it with the Siege version to see whether or not was it really worth having this figure out, and did you just waste your money on 3 other versions of this Ultra Magnus when you could have just waited to got this. So let's unbox this, take a look at it, check it out. So right off the jump, I just want to take a look at him in the package. I do love the packaging for the Kingdom figures. I love the artwork. I love all the design on it. So there's a look at him on the front. And you notice about halfway through, we have the figure nicely displayed. Very similar to the other Siege War for Cybertron, actually Kingdom War for Cybertron figures. So there's a look at him in his truck mode. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like a truck this time. Not some weird thing that the other figure looked like. On the 1/3 section there, we have some nice artwork of Ultra Magnus, and he's looked like, you know, he looks really cool. Very, very leaderistic, and he's looking really awesome there. We noticed that on the picture there, he has like these, you know, visor type, sunglasses type thing, which looks kind of cool. On the back there, we take a look, we got the promo shot of him in his robot mode, his trailer mode, and his complete mode on the bottom. So it's looking pretty much almost the same, minor differences, but once we open it up, we'll take a look at it and break it down and check them out.
Open. Damn it, open!
Oh man. Okay, here he is. So here's a look now at the figure with the inside packaging. We notice it has the same kind of design on the background. Notice the accessories right there on the left. And he looks pretty cool so far. I mean, I kind of like the way he looks. I love G1 Ultra Magnus. I also love the G1 toy. On the side there, we have this flap here. When we turn it around, notice that the back section is sticking out. And we should have a card right here, so let's take that out. And this time, they actually have this section just taped up here. I don't know why they changed it, but we're going to have to actually either cut it or just yank it out. So hopefully, it won't damage too much. So boom, let's see who we got. All right, we got Megatron. So I got this card on the previous figure. I think Cyclonus had it, I'm not sure, but I got Megatron already. If we peel it out, yeah, I got the same Megatron card, so I got doubles. So fortunately, these things are random, I guess, so you're gonna get a random card every time. It might be doubles, it might not be. Of course, he does come with this instructional pamphlet, and this thing is really extremely thick. And it is huge. Look at that, guys. Holy crap. So I'm assuming it shows us how to transform just the trailer part. Yeah, it's a lot of steps going on here. So there's a look at the front of it real quick. And there's a look at the back. As we all know, Magnus is mostly just a parts former. So there's a look at that. All right, guys, so it's now time to unhinge this guy. Look at this. Look at all this. He's like tied up to the cardboard like he's from Gulliver's Travel or something like that. So I gotta have to cut him all out here. Get him out of this freaking packaging. All right, so here he is out of the packaging, looking really nice. I mean, the original Siege version didn't look bad at all. And this is kind of more simplistic, more G1 cartoon looking Ultra Magnus. He is what he is. He's pretty cool looking. I can't lie about that. But is it really worth getting once you got the Siege version? So there's a look at the front there. Before I even get into that, I just want to take a look at that. Everything looks really good there. When we turn to the side, this is where we see all the chunkiness like we saw in the original G1 toy and in the Siege version. It's not looking as bulky and kind of not as tattered as the other one was, but that looks pretty good. And on the back there, we notice, yeah, there's a lot of kibble on the back there as we see. Yeah, we got the front piece of the trailer actually sticking right on his butt, pretty much like the other one did. And there's a look at the side. Let's take a closer look now in detail. So taking a look right now, we're at the head sculpt. Now the head sculpt is an all new sculpt. It looks like he has, different helmet, different antennas there. His face is different, and it looks really good in my opinion. I mean, they couldn't go wrong with this character. The section where, it kind of looks like he has glasses on, I don't know, it kind of looks weird. It looks out of place there, almost like that's like a temporary type thing instead of his actual eyes. If you look behind it, you can actually see there's kind of cutouts. Now I'm wondering if this is just the same face sculpt that the other one had, but they just put these two blue inserts in there of translucent plastic. I'm not sure. I'm going to check it out and find out. When we look at the back here, we notice that we do have piping. So if you had light on the back there, I'm pretty sure that his eyes kind of light up, which is kind of nice. I always like light piping, and that looks good. The shoulder area, that kind of looks the same. So I'm not sure. I'm going to compare them later, but that looks really nice with all the detail. His chest area looks phenomenal. This is pretty much the thing that kind of sold me. Very nice looking G1 style chest there with the two translucent blue plastic sections right there, looking really good, really plain, and really like it has this shape to it, which I really do like. On the shoulders, he has this more simplified look there, similar to the original G1 toy. On the side there, we have some detailing of like some struts or something. He has this peg right there that sticks up from the other side. Now I'm not sure what that was for. The original G1 toy, you can actually peg stuff on it, but in this case, this part doesn't move in or out like the original G1 toy did. So it's kind of like a waste almost. I don't know why they would even have it there, but that's pretty nice. But they should have just painted it white. Shoulders there, a little bit more simplified. Yeah, looks really good. Like that. The shoulder, the forearm parts right here looks pretty good. Not too much has changed on the crotch area. That looks very G1-esque, really nice. There's some kind of paint QC parts right here, which kind of they just oversprayed into the blue part. Kind of looks a little bit messed up, but it's not too bad. The legs pretty much look the same like here, minus the battle damage. Obviously, this portion of the legs, that all looks good. We all know classic Ultra Magnus. Side there, or the side of his leg, very simpler. One thing I really do love are these new wheels. Check that out, guys. It actually looks like truck wheels. For the first time, we see actual real looking wheels on a truck. So that looks good. We know that Siege and Earthrise, Ironhide and all that, they didn't even have like real wheels. They had like cybertronian wheels. We actually have real truck looking wheels on Ultra Magnus. So that looks really good. There's a look at the back. Notice the kibble and all the detail. So you can't go wrong. Like I said, the Siege version does this pretty much the same way. This is just a different type of version. So overall, I'm impressed with it. Let's compare. All right, guys, so before I go into the comparison, I just want to show you guys the accessories. So this is the new look of the shoulder rocket launchers that come with the new Ultra Magnus. They redesigned it, so it kind of gives it more of a G1-esque look. So there's a look at the side of it there. We notice it looks really much like the G1 toy. It has that little section here where you would just push it down and the rocket will come out. These don't do that, obviously, but there's a look at it. And on the inside there, we have some hollowness. And yeah, looks pretty good. Next up, here's a look at the blaster that it comes with. So he has this large blaster, very reminiscent to the G1 toy. And this looks like a complete reuse of the Siege version. So I do have the Siege version here. So there's a look at both of them. And I kind of do like the Siege one a lot better. The gunmetal gray looks good, but I don't know if it works that good with this figure, but there's a look at it. All right, guys, so here they are, the Siege version on the right and the New Kingdom one on the left. So this is the real battle right now, guys. And we're really gonna go and cough up 50 more bucks for this figure when this figure was just on clearance for like 20. We'll see. So here's a look at both of them there. They kind of look, the Kingdom one kind of looks a little bit taller, but that could just be an optical illusion. But if we notice it there, the head molds are different. So this head is actually kind of larger than the original Siege version that we got. Now, as far as detail goes, I think the Siege version, it just totally blows the other one out of the water. Now, as far as comparison to the original G1 cartoon, obviously that's what the reason this was released. But I gotta say, man, looking at it right now, I mean, you could just look at it in front of you. There's something about the Siege version that actually looks thinner and kind of more better proportioned. Obviously, this was the original look of the figure. They kind of took what this had and just built off of it. It kind of just like increased his size. So it might look, I don't know, it looks, I don't know, something about it right now. They look the same, but it's just, there's a lot more detail obviously on this one, and we'll go top to bottom from it. So we noticed that the shoulder areas here, it's kind of hard to see on this one here. They're sculpted differently. Now, in my opinion, yeah, this just looks, you know, For me, the Siege one looks really more detailed, and I mean the level of just attention to detail is just amazing. I mean, this figure is by no means you know, a whack version of Ultra Magnus. This is an awesome version of Ultra Magnus, so much that I went to the store and I was looking all over for it, and I love the design of it. I mean, it looks great. I'm finding it really hard to just compare them, because now I'm noticing that they're actually real different. So if you have this version, that's great. Do you really need to go to this version? Probably not. But there's a look at the shoulders and everything. There's a look at the details on the center section. We notice this is all new mold. This is an all new mold from what I see. The shoulder area, that actually looks all the same here on that section. If we notice on the top right there, that looks the same. The head molds are different. The shoulder parts are different. When we look at the crotch area right here, this actually looks better than this one, in my opinion. It kind of gets lost in, you know, there's not really much detail on this one. This one there, we notice all the little ridges and all that. And that's one thing that I loved about the Siege version. They added so much detail, and you can see, man, you know, that's kind of what you're paying for, is all that stuff. So they kind of just took it off on this. They could have added a little bit more, but like I said, they were probably trying to just, you know, get with the G1 cartoon looking. So what I'm gonna do is show you the bottom. Now the legs look exactly the same, they're just painted differently. We noticed that in the midsection here, the white is off-white, it's not really white. This section right here is painted blue, while this is actually just white still, and it gives the look of his legs being thinner in this version. When we look at this one, they look really, really beefy. But pretty much they're the same thing, they're just repainted. We have some battle damage on the feet, as we see right there. Let's take a look at the guns. There's a look at both of them with the guns. And this is actually the Siege version, which I think looks better on the Kingdom version. So when we turn it to the side, let's take a look now. This is the old shoulder cannons. This is the new ones. I do like the way the new one looks, but look at the old one. Look at all the detail on it. Bam, man. The Siege figure is looking pretty good. Now the arm sections right here, these look exactly the same. When we look at it, yeah, pretty much look the same thing. Minus this one has some battle damage right there, and the other one doesn't. So that's the same. When we look at it on the side, let's take a look at the side here. See how these profiles look. Boom. So yeah, if you notice, wow, they both look really, really chunky. This one, you can see the kibble right there from the trailer, but they pretty much look the same. Let's see which one I actually like. I kind of like the look of the new one, so that looks really good. Notice the tires there are different. We'll take a look at the back, and yeah, look at that. So looking at both of them, I kind of do prefer the back of this one, because the blue right here on his butt section, it kind of just breaks the color right there. This kind of looks weird with these headlights kind of facing. So I kind of do like the way the back of this one looks as opposed to this one. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I'm pretty sure I can remove that, and we can actually just have it just plain, which I'm probably gonna do later on. But there's just an overall look at them. If you're not sure on what to do, if you already have the Siege version, I don't see it being that much of an upgrade. I mean, this figure is awesome. As far as the level of detail goes, this thing blows that one out of the park. But if you want to have more of a, you know, G1 cartoon looking one, you can go with this one, which is the main reason why they came out. And for scale purposes, here's a look at him with some of the 86 bots from the different lines of Earthrise, Siege, and now Kingdom. Let's go over the articulation now. I'm going to show you pretty much the same exact thing like the original Siege figure does. His head can tilt a little bit forward and back. He has that much rotation. It can rotate 360 degrees all the way around. Arms go around 360 degrees very nicely, and it does have that weird joint everyone complains about, at it bending right there at the shoulder and not being able to actually bend that whole section. So it's kind of like a drag. So if you kind of have them in some weird different poses, that whole section has to bend, which doesn't look bad. Some people complain about it, but it's not too bad. The rockets right here can tilt up and down however way you want them. He does have that bicep swivel joint right there. His hands can rotate 360 degrees around. He does have the waist articulation, which he can rotate 360 degrees. His legs go forward about 90 and back about a little bit over. Yeah, it doesn't really go back that much because of the kibble that's on his butt. The legs can go out and in, and he does have the ankle pivot point right there. So that's all the articulation for him. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you Magnus in his regular form without all the panels on him. So I'm pretty sure it just comes apart the same way that the Siege version does. So what I want to just start by doing is taking off the panels from the arms and stuff, and then I'll take out the top panel and then the leg panel. So what I'm going to start by first doing is just taking these off. But before I take them off, I just wanted to show you something I missed out here, that this mold is actually different from that side mold. So they're actually different there, which is kind of cool, because if you miss one, you pretty much got to get the entire toy again, because they're two different panels. So what I'm going to start by doing is actually rotating this around to the back. Take these two panels right here, and I'm just going to turn them down 90 degrees. We'll do that on this side and on the other, and then we could just slide this right out like so, and the other side like so. Next up, I'll take out the forearm pieces. So for that, we just open that section up like that, and then we could just unpeg it from this side, popping that out like that. Repeating the same thing on the other side, just open up that flap and just pull it out from the side socket like that. Boom. Next up, I'll just take the chest portion right here. I can rotate that up 90 degrees, rotate that again 90 degrees, and just pop that up and out. Disconnect it from the back, just give it a twist, and boom, you can see where it locks in right there on the back section. Then finally the feet, what you want to just do is just turn it to the side and just pull out this section like that, and repeat the same thing on the other side. So now we have a naked Prime. Now we just got to get him ready in his robot mode. And to completely get him into the robot mode, what you want to do is just go down at the feet, unhinge that section 180 degrees like that, repeat with the other side, rotate that back like so. Next, what you'll do is you'll take these two soldier sections, rotate them back 90 degrees, take this whole cab section, fold that out 90, take his head section, fold that out 90. There's a look at the inside of it, and then you can just put that back how it was, rotate those shoulders forward like that. And finally, what you can do here is just take this back section and just slide it right up. So that kind of just stays like that, and that's kind of like his backpack section. So one last thing, you got to take this whole section, lock it in like that. And finally, what you could do is take this belt section right here, rotate that down 90 degrees, flip it around, and boom, lock it into place like that. Alright guys, so here is Ultra Magnus in his truest form, the inner part of Magnus without all the shells, and I gotta say he looks good. First impressions, I like the way he looks. I discovered something new about the transformation. The belt section turns down and flips over, which I never thought and I never did with the original Siege figure. So you learned something new today if you read the instructions, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think he looks pretty cool all around. He has a nice design. There's a look at the side of him and on the back. Let's take a closer look. I'll start off by taking a look at the head mold. Now the head mold looks phenomenal, looks great, fantastic. It's pretty much the same mold as the Siege version with a different paint job. The mask looks like it's painted blue as opposed to the other one, which I'm going to just compare in a little bit. So mine does have some QC issues. If you notice there on my mask, is not even painted all the way. That's kind of a bummer, but it does look good. There's a look at the top section there, the chest area there. I love the way that the translucent blue plastic looks right there on the windshield. Fortunately, the frames of mine are not really fully painted, so that's kind of a bummer because you don't know what you're going to get until you actually open this figure and you take him out of the transformation. You don't know if he looks all messed up or if he looks good. In my case, he kind of came out a little bit messed up. I'm going to have to correct that with some silver paint, which I do have. Right there on the windshield, we noticed the wipers there are like half painted. I don't know if they're supposed to be completely painted, but it would be nice if they would have just painted there. But there's a look at the front there, and I love the detail of the truck. Looks really good. I like the way that the belt section looks pretty much the same as the other one. It looks really good. I have no complaints about it, and overall it's pretty much the same figure, minus this chest piece here, this part at the crotch, and on the back there's a look at it there. We have really little minimal kibble that's showing, and I think it looks really good. All this white right here, and there's no breakup like the blue in the other one, which I'll compare. We know it's just parts of the truck transformation, but I think it looks really good in the back. Really plain Jane, looking really awesome in my opinion, and I do love the way it looks. So here's a look at him now with the Siege version. Yeah, you notice that the white is really off on the other version here. We noticed that the differences on the top, this whole section here is new compared to this one. This one we actually got some paint right there on those top lights, which we should have gotten with this one. I don't know why they didn't do it. Obviously we have more details on this one being the Siege version. He's got all this circuitry and all this, and in this one he has that pretty much Optimus Prime looking front truck type thing. Yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, now that we got both of them together, we can see that this has metallic paint right there on the front. This one has like a plain flat base paint, but overall it's pretty much the same minus the chest section, the crotch section, and yeah, the head looks pretty much the same head mold. The paint is a little bit lighter on this. We have some blue there. On this one we have the silver right there on the crest. The blue's a little bit darker on this one. We look at them on the side. That pretty much looks the same. And on the back there, we noticed that we do have that blue backpack on this one, which throws the figure completely off. On this one is way more cleaner. So my opinion, the new Magnus looks better. I'd go with him all the time. All right, guys, quick bonus for you guys. So if you want to know how to get rid of this back section right here, now I've done this with the Siege version, and I'm going to try it out with this version as well. So you can remove this whole section, and it's pretty easy. So what you want to do is you want to actually take this front section of Ultra Magnus and just slide it forward. So that whole torso right there, that whole top section, you could just slide that forward. And what you want to do is just take this section, slide it down to the lower half of his body, and next what you want to do is just slightly rotate that to the side about 45 degrees. So now once we push up, it's going to just slide right out of that tab. So watch this. I'm just going to take a little force, wiggle it, and should pop right out. Boom. So we just slide that out like so, and if you want to get it back in, you just get it out there like that and just slide it right along those notches, and it should slide right back into place. So kind of have to like play with this top section here because it kind of wants to just get in the way, but I'm going to show you right now. You can put it right back on if you want to. Let's see. Boom. So you just kind of have to just slide that out and in, but for now I'm going to leave mine off because I don't like how this part looks when it's in the Ultra Magnus mode. So there's a look at it, and you can just have them look like that, nice and plain if you want to. So I'm going to keep mine like that. All right, guys, it's transformation time. Let's get him into his truck mode. So what I'm going to do is pretty much what I did earlier, but in reverse. I'm going to take his two shoulders, rotate them out 90 degrees. I'll take the chest section right here, fold that down, fold the head back in, move that up like so. Put the two arm shoulders back in there like that for now. And next what I'm going to be doing is taking this back section, rotating, pushing that all the way down so that it's actually locked into that part. And then I'm going to do is I just flip this around like that and take the whole top cab section, move it forward, and that kind of just locks right into that spot. Could still swivel a little bit, so you got to make sure that you keep it right in the spot. Next what I'll do is I'll take the arms, I'll rotate the shoulders back out again, and I'll just put the arms and lock them in like that. And then what you want to do is just take these tabs and just put them right in that section. So got to kind of be careful. Lock them into the spot like that. And next what we'll do, we'll just repeat it. We'll turn the elbow like that 90 degrees. We'll take the whole shoulder section, fold it all the way back, and lock it right into that part like so. So you could take the arms and just the hands and just rotate them in so that they're not that visible when you do the transformation. Next what I'll do is I'll take the legs and I'll just fold them up about 90 degrees, lock that tab right there in the crotch section, and I'll repeat the same thing with the other side like that. And then just take these two sections, lock them together, and boom. It's pretty much him in the truck mode. All right, so here is Ultra Magnus in his truck mode. I just brought out the trailer section just so you guys could see how this looks, and so I could see how it looks. And there's a look at the front there, and that looks really good. And that is the only part, in my opinion, that looks really good, because once I turn it to the side, bam, Kibble Mania over here, guys. This just looks really, really bad. This whole front section looks pretty good, and you get to this, is just like a hot mess. So this is pretty much carrying over from the Siege version, which the truck mode pretty much looked like crap. They kind of fixed it up, obviously, a little bit better. So I'm assuming once I put all the panels on top of him, he's gonna look a lot better. But this is just a look at, you know, how he looks with just the trailer version. So you can't really have him running around here looking like that, because he is definitely not a robot in disguise. So there's a look at that. And yeah, I do like the tires. That's the one plus thing. And I kind of do like this front section, but other than that, yeah, there's a look at the top, the side, and the bottom, and the back. Yeah, that looks really, really bad. So I try to make it look a little bit better by folding his hands in, but it's kind of like no escaping it. So there's a look at that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take all these pieces and turn this into the trailer section for him. So voila, we're going to transform him into his cab and his complete trailer. What I'll start by doing is just taking the lower leg section, and what we want to do is just take the flaps out here and just pretty much open that all up, and that kind of just unflaps, and you'll see how that will become the side of the truck. So what we could do is we just put it like that, and we notice that we have one side done. We'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Next, what we'll do is we'll take the chest section area with Magnus's head, and what we do is just fold that like that, and then we'll take the inside, we'll fold that out 90 degrees. So we're just pretty much doing a whole bunch of unfolding. We could repeat the same thing on the back, and once we flip it around, this will be how it will just end up on the inside, as I'll show you right now. So next, what I'm going to do is actually take the wrist sections, and I'm just going to peg them right here. So there's a peg hole right there and a peg on this lower section. We'll just take them and just peg them right into there like so. Next, I'll take the shoulder area and I'll just unclip the rockets. And what you're going to do next with these shoulder parts is just combine them together. So if we notice on one side we have like a little peg portion, and right here we have a slot. So you're just going to put them together like that and extend these sections like that as so, because this is going to hook up to the cab portion of the truck. This is the part where it gets a little bit tricky. So what I'm going to do is with this mid section right here, I'm going to take one side of where the leg compartment is, and I'm going to actually take these two slots right here. There's a slot right here and right here, and they kind of just slide right into this portion. So let's see if I could do it. There's a little peg hole right there, and what you want to do is just get this into one side, and you got to do it one side at a time. If not, it's going to come out all messed up and you won't be able to get it in. So you want to lock them in like that, and then what you do is you just take all these tabs and holes and just line them up and clip them together. So see if I can make that come out nice and neat. So boom, we do it like that on one side, and then we'll repeat the same thing on the other side, kind of just locking it all in together like that. Boom, take all those pegs, put them all together. Next up, what I'll be doing is taking this section and just clipping it right under Magnus's feet right there, or right along his feet, and we notice that that whole section just clips in right there, and that's going to go right into the back of the trailer. And on these tabs on the flaps, they kind of just peg right there. So if you see it right there, they kind of lock in. So you got to put them all together so that it sandwiches together and it locks Magnus right in there. And once you're all done regretting this transformation, you come up with this thing. So what you want to do finally is just put the rocket launchers on the picture. It has, you know, them on this peg hole, but I'm a G1 guy, so what I'm going to do is just put them right here on the front like they went on the original G1 toy. And boom, voila. Here you have it, guys. This is the Kingdom Ultra Magnus in his truck mode, man. And I gotta say, this thing looks like a hot mess. I kind of like the way the back section looks here. Before I bash it, let me just give you guys a look at it. There's a look at the front there, and that looks kind of cool. I think that looks really good. It's when you start looking on the side and stuff where it gets a little funky. So there's a look at the front there. There's a look at the top. That looks pretty cool. A whole bunch of kibble and whatnot, detail things going on the top. And on the side looks really good here. I do like the way this part of the back trailer looks. There's a look at the back section there with his two toes pointing out saying hello. Yeah, so there's a look at it there. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The Siege version was an ugly adaptation of this form, and this kind of is a little bit better. It's actually a little bit better. and I'm not feeling it too much. You can't really put any cars and stuff like he originally did on the G1 toy, but you know, it is what it is. I wish that you could somehow have this compartment more useful and be able to put cars and different things on top of it like the original G1 toy, but there's a look at it on the side there. There's all the detail on the side there of the section right here. We noticed that there's a little part right here where the Autobot logo should go, but I don't see it there. It's just a little spot there that's just empty, but I do love all the detail on the side there. That looks really nice. I do love the tires. The tires look really good. In my opinion, looks better than the Siege version, obviously, but yeah, this whole thing right here throws me back to the original G1 toy, which I loved. The tires on the back look good. The wheels look good. This section just looks completely off. I kind of wish that we had some kind of usability, like this ramp comes down or something. But I mean, overall, the sculpt is really nice. That's really good, and that's really good. Not useful, but it looks good, and it looks better than the Siege version. So there's a look at the bottom there. Very streamlined, hardly any kibble. Looks really good. Truck mode doesn't really look that great. On this section right here is just like, you know, it looks better now because it's concealed, so it does look better than what it does without the trailer part. So overall, I'm all right with it. Will I probably transform him into this mode again? Probably not, because it was just a pain in the butt to get all the panels in, and I kind of had to get this figured out the right way, which is supposed to have it in a better section so that everything comes together perfectly. But once you get it all together, here it is. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I like it better than the Siege version, but they could have did a way better job at giving us a Magnus, a whole new mold, and just letting us have a you know, bigger leader class figure. But there's a look at the truck mode, and I'm not too impressed, but it is what it is. So there's my unboxing and review on the Kingdom War for Cybertron Ultra Magnus figure. Overall, this figure is really nice, and had I had the choice to have had the original Siege figure and this one, I would have had this one. But if you already have the Siege version, you don't need to get this version, I think. So if you're not a G1 purist like I am, then this is pretty much a soft pass. If not, just wait till the price goes down, because I do kind of see this being like a shelf warming figure. So till next time, this is Chukatron signing out, saying peace, love, harmony, and God bless. Thank you guys for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, chances are you'll enjoy another one. Hit the subscribe and notification bell for more Chukatron content.